Charlie Bobrinskoy is vice chair and head of investment group at Ariel Investments. Charlie, this is exactly the trade you've been saying is going to bear out. So how much further do you think it can run?
A lot. And thank you, Kelly, for mentioning that. This is exactly, we want people to take a picture of their screens today and project this for the rest of the year, maybe for a couple of years. And the reason is because Treasury rates and interest rates weren't just a little bit too low. They were way too low. It made no sense to have a 1.3 10-year with a 3.5, 4, or 6% inflation rate. Treasuries have averaged about 4% since they were invented. And in this kind of inflation environment, you could argue they should be higher. Now, we don't think they're going to 4% in a hurry, but we absolutely think they're going to go up a lot from here. When they do, that's very good for value stocks relative to growth stocks. Tech has benefited from negative real interest rates. And then because if you have negative real interest rates, you're discounting future earnings back at a very low rate. And so you get a very high price today. As that unwinds, we're going to see value stocks do well like they're doing today and growth stocks doing relatively poorly.
A lot of people look back at 2021, Charlie, when you had financials and energy and technology doing well. Technology companies, like the big caps at least, are some of the most reliable consumer staples-ish cash flow generative companies in America. Why can't they continue to show strong performance amid a stronger economy?
Because a lot of these are great companies. They're not great stocks. The example I use is Microsoft in 1999. From 1999 to 2010, Microsoft's earnings tripled. The stock went down by 60%. Why? Because it started at 60 PE. So a number of these names today are going to have growth. They're very good companies. Some of them are maybe a little overrated, but they're very good companies, but they're just overvalued stocks. And frankly, momentum has been behind them. Momentum works until it doesn't. When momentum reverses, when a main factor like interest rates reverse, you can get dramatic moves in these stocks.
So why is the S&P down today? What does that tell you?
That it's got a lot of tech stocks. It's got 25% growth stocks. It is underweight value names, which are doing very well today. I've been talking to you about Apache, which I think is up 5 or 6% today. Madison Square Garden Entertainment. None of these names are in the S&P 500. If they are, they're in a very low weight. The S&P 500 was trading at 21 times earnings at the end of the year. That's expensive. And value stocks, the Russell 1000 value was trading at more like 15 times earnings, much more reasonable.
So for those who look out and say, wait a minute, we have, the end of fiscal stimulus, not much is going to happen on the congressional front. We have the Fed now, we have Doves now talking about multiple hikes and so forth. How much momentum does the quote unquote real economy really have right now?
This is very important, Kelly. It has a ton of momentum. There is pent up demand. I wanted to buy a car 2 weeks ago, and every place I went had nothing on their lot. There are a lot of people who, like me, who'd love to buy a car right now. There are a lot of people who'd like to buy a house right now. It's very hard. Try and buy a bike right now. So there is pent up economic demand. The money supply has exploded higher, 30% higher from a year ago. That's going to cause inflation. It's going to be a tailwind to the economy. We're going to have raw materials, natural resource prices going up. Wages are finally going up. We're going to have 4% increases, I believe, this year in wages, which we didn't have last year. All of those things are going to be good for the economy, but rates are going up.
All right. You mentioned Apache. For other picks, just so everyone's aware, Madison Square Garden Entertainment, Borg Warner, Lazard, and Viacom CBS, you think is going to have a big year with Paramount Plus?
Absolutely. We talked about it a year ago when it was a meme stock that went from 10 to 90. We waved everybody off at 90. Now the stock's back at 32, trading at about 8 times earnings. They're going to have a big year. Political advertising is big. Paramount Plus is growing very quickly. Viacom CBS is a very solid value stock here.
All right, Charlie, thank you for your time today. Again, pretty much a marquee day to have you on.